Hello everybody and welcome back. It is good to talk to all of you again today, and today we're gonna do a little bit of a teaser for a couple of ships that are, well, currently still in testing, obviously. But you know, some of the stuff has been data mined, and so let's take a look at them. The first ship today that we're going to talk about is USS Enterprise. The second ship we're going to talk about, HMS Gallant, and the third one, Glorious Soviet Nuremberg. Right, that last ship is not very exciting, but the Enterprise I'm excited for. This is a ship I am legitimately excited for. You know, her stats right now I think could, you know, use some improvements, but this is a very, very important ship historically, and it's a carrier. I'm excited. Regardless of what happens, I think I'm going to get the ship just because, you know, collector's purposes. But anyways, first things first, visually beautiful. This is the camo that I think she comes with right now, and just beautifully modeled. I believe this is the 1944 hull, so she is going to have her Bofors and just tons and tons of 20mm Oerlikons. Just beautiful ship all around, as you can tell. Yeah, it's just very, very nice, very pretty. Yeah, I'm just kind of gonna be like, yeah, she's beautiful. But unfortunately, in her current state, I think she's probably gonna need a bit of help. Although, you know, hey, you're gonna see sort of a direction that I think Wargaming is going with this particular carrier, which is still gonna be very, very interesting. So let's take a look at the Enterprise. Now, Enterprise is a Tier 8 carrier. And the first thing I want you to look at is the air wing, because it's a carrier, and air wing is everything. And you'll notice that she has a 2-2-2 configuration. That's really, really good. You know, that's a very balanced setup, a lot of versatility there, so that's very good. However, I do have to point out these are going to be Tier 7 aircraft on a Tier 8 CV. I'm not sure if this is like a new Wargaming trend for CVs that they're doing this, because, you know, Kaga was a Tier 7 with Tier 6 planes, but just not really sure. Maybe this is like their future premium CVs are all going to be a little weird in terms of like what tier their planes are. I don't know. But anyways, so you're going to be having Tier 7 aircraft. That could run Tier 10s. Yikes. But in terms of the number of planes per squadron, 5 planes per squadron, that's not bad. Fighters, if you have air superiority, you're going to have a squadron 6. Same for dive bombers. Torpedo bombers, you get 2 of them. That's 10 torpedo bombers in total. That's going to be pretty good. I mean, these are USN torpedo bombers, so they're going to hit pretty hard. 10 of them can really output some damage, especially if you're top tier and you're running to like this, like Tier 6s and stuff. Yikes, those torpedoes are going to hurt. Assuming, again, that they have a normal drop pattern. They could have something completely different and unique, but who knows. Now, one thing that I want you to pay attention to is the reserve. And this is the thing that concerns me a little bit about the Enterprise. The current way they've set up the reserves are you have tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of reserve fighters. I mean, you have 10 in the 2 squadrons that you have at the beginning, and then you got 25 in reserve. So you could lose a lot of squadrons, and you're okay. You have quite a few replacement fighter squadrons. However, that comes at a cost of your striking power. Your torpedo bombers, only 10 in reserve. That means you only get a grand total of 2 waves. And then for dive bombers, you've got 13 in reserve along with the 10 that you have in your squadrons. So that's, again, only like 2 full waves of attack, which means that I think the Enterprise is going to be, at least if, you know, this current sort of situation holds, it should be more suited for early game just contesting air with fighters, and then in the later game stage where, you know, A kind of dies off a little bit, then maybe you can do some striking and get some damage in. But if, you know, it was right at the beginning, I don't think I'd be using her offensively. I don't really think that's worth it, considering you just don't have that many planes. Now, aside from her air wing, everything else on the Enterprise does look reasonably good. I mean, everything else seems reasonably okay. Maximum speed is good, 32.5 knots. Her surface detectability range is much better compared to the Lexington, which means that she is going to be stealthier and she is going to be able to get a little bit closer to front lines and follow the team's sort of movement around the map. So that's good. Yeah, so in terms of that, that's all pretty solid. Her air defense is not terrible, although most of the power is focused in sort of the mid and close range AA circles. The long range one, yeah, there's some damage there, but oh well. I mean, really as a CV, you really aren't counting that much on your AA. Like, you really should be depending on your fighters more. Although, again, Tier 8 CV, she does have defensive fire, so not going to be an easy ship to go and snipe. So I'd say Enterprise is okay for now, in that regard. And that's pretty much everything about the Enterprise right now. You know, pretty fast, reasonably stealthy, good flexibility in the squadrons. Although squadron plane distribution in terms of balance and stuff there, I think could use a little bit of work. So yeah, excited about Enterprise, also a little bit worried about her as well. Okay, moving on, let's take a look at the next ship that I want to look at, which is this pretty little Royal Navy destroyer, HMS Gallant. Now, when I first heard about HMS Gallant, I was like, what? What ship is this? And, you know, at first I was just not too excited about her. But now, after looking at, you know, the stats that have been data mined for her so far, I'm actually becoming a little bit more excited about this little ship. She's got quite a bit of oomph to her. She's got quite a bit of power. And I think she's going to be a fun little boat. She's sort of like, if you are somebody, I think, right now who plays the Farragut well, and enjoys the Farragut playstyle, I think you're really going to like the Gallant. And here's the reason why. So first things first, you've got, range-wise, you know, it's 10.18 base kilometer range. If you get AFT, you'll get a little bit more there. 120 millimeter guns. Now these 120 millimeter guns aren't that bad. If you take a look at them, reload time is 5 seconds. That's roughly on par, I think, with some of the German destroyers, if I remember correctly. The turret traverse isn't that bad. You know, in terms of the Gallant's HE, you take a look at that. I mean, projectile speed 808 meters per second. Not that bad. A little bit better than the USN ones. Not as great as the German ones, if I remember correctly. Probability of burning, 8%. That's pretty high. Maybe that'll get nerfed a little bit. These are 120 millimeter guns after all, so 8% seems a little high. Maybe see that maybe cut down to roughly where the USN ones are, maybe 5%, who knows. So, you know, from first look here, maybe these guns will be pretty similar in performance to sort of what the USN can accomplish with slightly better fire chance. Although it is possible that the fire chance will get changed, you know, because otherwise it would be a little bit too strong, I think, right? If you take a look at the guns, arcs are, they're not amazing. I don't think the arcs are not that great. You need to basically turn all the way to about 43 degrees before you can get all 4 guns out. So maybe arc's not that great, but again, she's a small ship. I mean, she's not huge. It's a nice little small boat. Very cute, by the way. And I think if you're able to dodge a weave, you should be okay. I mean, if you take a look at the turning circle, 540 meters, that's pretty tight. Rudder shift time is 3.92 seconds, also pretty fast. So, you know, max speed, 36 knots, not all that slow either. But what's gotten me excited, oh, by the way, and surface detectability is actually really good, 6.84. But what's gotten me really excited about the Gallant is the combination of these guns, which are really nice, and at least as of right now, again, like I said, the guns could change. But the torpedoes are interesting because I feel like these torpedoes indicate maybe the direction of what Royal Navy destroyers will look like in the future, which is really high damage torpedoes. Take a look. The Gallant torpedoes, as of right now, they're 61 knot torpedoes, so they're reasonably fast. They go 8 kilometers. Ooh, you know, they're talking about sort of like, you know, Anshan levels of torpedo in terms of speed and distance. But what's different? Really high damage. I mean, the Gallant's torpedo damage right now, don't worry, these numbers are not the damage numbers you'll see in game. Those numbers get calculated, and yeah, there's a whole bunch of things there. But basically, if you look at the numbers and you compare them, the Gallant's torpedoes numbers are actually roughly on par, tiny little bit worse than the IJN torpedoes. So yeah, the Gallant's gonna be a very, very interesting ship. Torpedo arc's not that great, but hey, you've got pretty good range torpedoes. You've got reasonably good concealment there. If you combine that with like concealment expert, I think you're going to be really good there. Maybe a touch bit worse than some of the IJN ones, but yeah, she's gonna have like reasonable gun performance with really nice torpedoes, and that might be a British Royal Navy thing. So yeah, this ship, I'm actually excited about the ship. And finally, of course, we will look at well, I don't know what to say about this one. It's the Nuremberg. Yeah, that's exciting. That looks like a Nuremberg, it smells like a Nuremberg, except it's painted in glorious Soviet colors. Well, I don't know. Can't really get excited about this. It's a tier 6 cruiser, and if you have a choice between buying the Molotov or buying the Nuremberg, like, is that even really a debate there? That shouldn't even be anything to even think about. So yeah. Not really all that impressed with this, because it's basically a Nuremberg in every sense of the word right now. Guns are the same. Torpedoes are pretty much the same. Air defenses, well, yeah, okay. Maybe a little bit different, but nothing substantial there. Speed is the same. Turning circle radius, pretty much the same. Yay. I mean, I was hoping like, oh, maybe it'll be different. Like, maybe right now she'll have something to differentiate her. Maybe like special HE or something. Nope, not at all. Just basically somebody at Wargaming thought, hey, we could just take the Nuremberg model, slap on a new coat of paint, and sell it as a premium as a Russian. God. All right. So yeah, not impressed by this ship at all. So yeah, I mean that's the early teaser, shall we say, for the Enterprise, the Gallant, and the forever not talked about Admiral Makarov. Yeah, you know, one is probably in a little bit of need of help here, that being the Enterprise. One is really exciting right now, the Gallant, and one is something that we're most likely just never gonna mention. So anyways, folks, yeah, that's pretty much this little teaser here. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Aside from all that, take care, have yourselves a good one, and I'll talk to all of you again soon.